The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Breaking news.
And on this Black Friday, this is coming into us at this hour. The NYPD here in New York City is arresting multiple Muslim and pro-Palestinian rioters, protesters at an Apple store in New York City. It's being described as total chaos. And again, these losers, they know how and when to hit because it's Black Friday and all of these companies are trying to do very well today. But again, the NYPD is arresting multiple Muslims and pro-Palestinian rioters at an Apple store here in New York City, described as total chaos. We will be following that story. President Trump has not ruled out deporting the family of the D.C. alleged gunman. Daddy's not home for Thanksgiving. Somebody knew something. But remember, just like in Colorado, when that man set afire the people at that peaceful protest in support of Israel. Remember that one? Remember that one, folks? Well, you had people that tried their best to block the Trump administration from having his family deported, and the courts intervened to block it. Expect the same here. Dominic Carter here with you folks on this Black Friday. I call it Free Friday because on this day, meaning you can talk about whatever is on your mind. We see your calls coming in, 800-848-9222. I'll come back to the top issue in a moment, which is obviously the death of the guardswoman, Sarah Beckstrom. What happened in D.C., her colleague clinging for life at this hour. We'll come back to that. Do you want to know why the country screwed up? Why partisanship is where it is? Why we can't agree on anything? If the right says left, then it's just the opposite way around. If you want to understand, I'm going to play something here for you that should put everything in perspective. This is Congresswoman Hate, Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman Keisha. And I want you to listen to what she has to say of Texas. Now, remember, folks, I am a very proud Republican. There are thousands of proud black Republicans. They may not talk about it, just like some Democrats don't talk about their party enrollment. But they're still very proud members of the party. Congresswoman Haight says black people are not Republicans simply because, and listen to the ebonics that she's about to use here. And this is intentional. No one talks like this. I want you to listen to this. She says, it's because we just like you all racist. I can't hang out with the KKK and them. This is a highly educated woman. Listen to the ebonics used by Congresswoman Haight.
I talk to black folk all the time as somebody that's a child of a preacher. Listen, most black people are not Republicans simply because we just is like, y'all racist. I can't hang out with the KKK and them. That's really what it is. But when we think about who we are as black people and we think about where we come from, most black people have very conservative values, right? But the reality is that, like, we just can't side with, like, the neo-Nazis in them. We not dealing with y'all like that, right?
Neo-Nazis and them. Highly educated woman intentionally talking like that because she feels that by doing so that she's been successful and it connects her to the masses. This is why we have problems in America, because of Congresswoman Keisha. You can't let Keisha go to Congress. It's that simple, folks. Just like you can't let AOC go to Congress. This is why our country is in a terrible mess. And President Trump is trying to clean it up. It's President Trump that made the horrible announcement last night.
I must unfortunately tell you that just seconds before I went on, right now I heard that Sarah Beckstrom of West Virginia, one of the guardsmen that we're talking about highly respected, young, magnificent person. Started service in June of 2023. Outstanding in every way. She's just passed away. She's no longer with us. She's looking down at us right now. Her parents are with her. It's just happened. She was savagely attacked. She's dead. Not with us. Incredible person. Outstanding in every single way, in every department. That's horrible.
It is horrible, and the U.S. Attorney for D.C., Jeanine Pirro, announcing the immediate upgrade of charges against this savage.
There are certainly many more charges to come, but we are upgrading the initial charges of assault to murder in the first degree. And we are hoping that the more information we can get and the more investigation that is going on 24/7 now, around the clock in Washington, the more we will find out about what actually happened in terms of this individual even being in this country and being in a position to ambush and shoot down an innocent young woman who was doing her duty to the people of this country.
Now, imagine, folks, and we see all your telephone calls coming in. If you're trying to reach us, just pause for a few seconds, hit redial. You should be able to get through. Imagine you're the president and you have to deal with this every day. President Trump asking a reporter if she is stupid after she asked him why is he blaming the Biden administration for the Washington, D.C. shooting of the two National Guardsmen.
U.S. officials say that the suspect worked very closely with the CIA in Afghanistan for years, that he was vetted, and the vetting came up clean.
He went cuckoo. I mean, he went nuts. And that happens, too. It happens too often with these people. You see them. But, look, this is how they come in. This is how they're standing on top of each other. And that's an airplane. There was no vetting or anything. They came in unvetted. And we have a lot of others in this country. We're going to get them out. But they go cuckoo. Something happens to them.
Your DOJ IG just reported this year that there was thorough vetting by DHS and by the FBI of these Afghans who were brought into the U.S. So why do you blame the Biden administration?
Because they let them in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person. And there's a law passed that it's almost impossible not to get them out. You can't get them out once they come in. And they came in, and they were unvetted, they were unchecked, there were many of them, and they came in on big planes, and it was disgraceful. And if you look, you'll see there was a law passed. It makes it almost impossible not to let them in, not to certify them, so to speak, once they come in. And they came in, and they shouldn't have come in. And frankly, the whole thing was a mess. The whole Afghanistan situation was a mess. It should have never taken place. If we're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision, and we would have left from Bagram, and we would have kept Bagram, by the way, because of its very close relationship to China and where they make their missiles. But when you let the people come in by the thousands and thousands and thousands, they made a terrible mistake.
Breaking news.
And as we said at the top of the program, and folks, we don't have to live like this. The NYPD is rushing in and making arrests at an Apple store. Palestinian protesters crashing Black Friday shopping at a New York City Apple store. I can see here people are the police had to, they're literally, pick somebody up completely off their feet and carrying them away. We've got to get serious with these Palestinian protesters. It's time to stop the coddling. First Amendment, First Amendment. You're not even a citizen of this country. It's time to stop the nonsense with these fools. It's time for them to know what time it is, America style. Try doing this in Palestine or with your Hamas buddies and see what will happen to you there. Let's start with your telephone calls. Line 1, Tony in White Plains. Tony, what's on your mind?
Hello, Dominic. The public needs to open their eyes. This incident that occurred in D.C. is the beginning of what we were trained in psychological warfare. I was former military, was the 101st Airborne Division. And you need to have punishment that's swift and harsh, which will instill a little fear in the wannabes who want their names on the front page of a newspaper. This will metastasize like everything else out there, and it's going to get worse and worse. If you thought 9/11 was bad, well, you're going to be back in that same mental mode where you're going to be afraid to hang around in crowds, go into stores. Your life is not going to be happy from this day forward. You're going to be worried and scared about everything and everywhere you go. It's
Tony,
a very difficult
correct.
thing once you allow it to metastasize with all of these politicians and people out there ranting about all this garbage. All they're doing is just instilling some kind of, I don't know what it is.
No, you know, Tony, and you're 1,000% correct. It's time to stop playing games with these Palestinian protesters. But look at how much behind, and thank you for the wonderful call, Tony. Look at how behind the 8 ball we are. How can you crack down on them when the leader of the city in less than a month, about a month, happens to be the city's first Muslim mayor? You think the crackdown's going to come on them? No, they're going to get a wink, wink and a nod, nod that they can run amok and do whatever they want. That's what's in our immediate future. Let's go to Jim, line 3 in Nutley, New Jersey. Jim, what's on your mind?
Oh, thank you for taking my call, Dominic. I don't know if you want to hear about this, but on the morning show, WABC, David Patterson, John Catsimatidis.
Wait, let me just stop you there, Jim. Unfortunately, I didn't hear the show this morning. So I don't like taking these types of calls because I'm forced to respond to your characterization of what happened on the show. It doesn't mean that it went down that way. It just means that's the way you think that you heard it. But go ahead.
Well, they were suggesting that Curtis took money from the Mandami campaign to stay in the election. I thought that was wrong for them to say that. I mean, it's like character assassination of Curtis. I mean,
I don't have anything to say about Mr. Sliwa or the campaign. The chips are going to fall where they may. This is not the end of this. This is just the beginning. The chips are going to fall where they may. I don't have anything to say about Mr. Sliwa. I wish him well, but I'm done with him. Okay, so thank you for the call, Jim. It is time for a break, folks. We are coming right back.
This shrimp and coconut sauce is divine. What's your secret?
Goya coconut milk.
How does it taste so good?
It's all in that real coconut flavor and that rich, creamy texture.
What about thickeners and added sugars?
None. Just smooth, coconutty goodness.
What can I make with it?
From curries to sweet treats like coconut flan, the possibilities are endless.
Goya coconut milk. Take your cooking to the next level. No question about it. Find it in the Goya section of your local grocery store. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do? I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault. A new series streaming now only on Peacock. The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And on this Black Friday, we go back to your telephone calls. Line 5, John in New Jersey. John, what's on your mind?
Hello, Dominic. One quick question. Does the president have the right to install the death penalty if somebody is a federal agent? Is one. And as far as McDomey goes, I think the city of New York deserves what they get. When the people start moving out and they need money, it's going to be a bitch.
Well, the city is in deep trouble. And here's why, because we're two and a half days removed from what happened in D.C. I still don't think that Mamdani has made a statement yet. And he won't. because he told you up front exactly what he thinks of all of us Americans. And we were still stupid enough to make him the mayor of the city. Oh, he's so cute. Look at him. He's so cute and sexy and handsome. And he sounds so articulate. And he's a man of the people. And to answer your first question, John, officially, a president cannot deliver on the death penalty. That's officially. But unofficially, you better believe the president, any president of the United States, calls their attorney general, or the chief of staff to the president calls the attorney general to give the president deniability and says, this is the way we're going forward with this case. And so, and then it's up to the attorney general and the prosecutors to determine whether or not they can make a death penalty case stick. So a president has direct ways, but more indirect as it relates to a death penalty case here. John, what do you think should happen?
Well, I think the death penalty should be invoked, because that's the only way you're going to stop some of this nonsense. And as far as the riots that are going on, give the cops the right to beat the hell out of them. It will not stop when somebody fights back.
You know, John, if it were up to me, and this is never going to happen, not just give the police the right to fight back, call in the fire department. I know the history of our country with the civil rights movement and the water hoses that were let loose on black people with dogs. But maybe these Palestinian protesters need a little bit of that treatment. Turn the FDNY loose, turn on those hoses, let the dogs go. We'll see. Those dogs, I find it interesting, John, because when my dog, Dolce, was dying, we had to go in the middle of the night to the emergency room for animals, and, it's very expensive. But what I found interesting was that while I was there, you saw numerous police dogs coming in with their partners, their human partners. And then it started to add up. It's very expensive for the NYPD to take care of these dogs, but it's necessary. You have to have them. Well, let's put the dogs to good use. Turn them loose on those protesters. They'll live. They're down with the Palestinian cause, so they're used to this. Turn the horses loose. I'm serious, folks. Something has to give, because if it doesn't, these savages are never going to stop. You have told them indirectly and directly that they have power, And they've got to learn the hard way that you don't have an ounce of power in America. You thought you did, but this is a different president. President Biden and his whole team, they need to be completely ashamed of themselves, absolutely ashamed of themselves for the pickle that they have all of us in right now. Thank you for that great call, 800-848-9222. We are coming back on this Black Friday.
The Dominic Carter Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back. Folks, this holiday season, help the Red Apple Audio Networks feed those in need. Go to redappleaudionetworks.com/turkey. Join Red Apple Audio Networks, AARP New York City, the Police Athletic League, Gristedes and D'Agostino's Supermarkets, and Nationwide Imaging Services as we deliver holiday meals to more than 5,000 families across the city. Go to redappleaudionetworks.com/turkey. redappleaudionetworks.com/turkey. Going back to your calls in just 1 second. The lovely Debbie Lebedo. Hope your husband is well. Debbie just put on my Twitter. She just said here, at Dominic TV, we need to bring back the firing squad and public execution for some criminals. Yes, Debbie, but that's way too good for this guy. I am as serious as cancer when I say this. He needs to be strung up if it's humanly possible to do. I don't know if the body can sustain this type of weight, but by his testicles in Times Square, literally, buck naked. I know the Civil Liberties Union. Oh, you can't do that. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You can't do it. That's what needs to happen to him. Hang him up by his testicles, and then once every couple of hours, hang him, but only for 15 seconds. Not enough to kill him, for 15 seconds. And let Americans rotate through the crowd. Let's see how many Palestinian protesters show up for that. That's what needs to happen to this guy. And then don't kill him. Don't kill him. Don't kill him. Don't kill him. I'm just going to say what's on my mind. It's not politically correct. Put him in an all-black jail and tell Bubba straight up $1,000 is going to be put on your account if you handle him. You and your boys together handle him. Bubba knows what that means. They'll handle him real well. When the next day he goes out for the public hanging, he will then be Michelle when Bubba and company are done with him. That's what needs to happen to this guy. To this guy. 20-year-old woman. Hasn't even really started life yet. A bullet to the face and to the chest. The other soldier fighting for life as we speak. I want you to listen to this. Again, I started out with Congresswoman Keisha. Congresswoman of hate, Ebonics Central. You know what, Carlos? I want the audience to hear that again, to hear how phony that this Jasmine Crockett, this is a well-educated black woman from a well-to-do family. Listen, folks, to how she's talking.
I talk to black folk all the time as somebody that's a child of a preacher. Listen, most black people are not Republicans simply because we just is like, y'all racist. I can't hang out with the KKK in them. That's really what it is. But when we think about who we are as black people and we think about where we come from, most black people have very conservative values, right? But the reality is that, like, we just can't side with, like, the neo-Nazis in them. We not dealing with y'all like that, right?
Congresswoman Keisha is considering running for the Senate. Congresswoman hate, Jasmine Crockett. And hey, you ladies in the audience, you were right. I was wrong. Those were wigs. I thought it was her hair. Wigs. Now she's got a new look and, the fake. I didn't even know the eyebrows were fake. She goes to show you women keep me on point. Because I was like, I don't like her politics, but she's a decent looking woman. Not anymore. I don't even think Marjorie Taylor Greene is a good looking. I'm used to her fighting, and that's what made her so sexy to me. Now she's like a cream puff, and it's like, ill. So I wanted you to hear Congresswoman Keisha, because now I'm going to turn to the Atlantic. They're blaming President Trump for this Afghan illegal murdering this National Guard member in a, if you will, slanderous hit piece. I want you to listen to this. This is from the Fox News channel.
But yet some media outlets, the Atlantic, still wants to blame President Trump and blame his deployment for this heinous attack we witnessed. Yesterday, they wrote in the Atlantic this: Trump offered a predictable response to the shooting, pausing immigration for anyone from Afghanistan, a move that conveniently ignored how Lochinwall had gotten to the United States. He came as part of Operation Allies Welcome, admitted for his assistance to U.S. troops, and was reportedly granted asylum status after vetting by the Trump administration earlier this year. We are not at war now, but Trump's use of the National Guard suggests that he thinks we are not at peace either. The National Guard is stranded somewhere on this battlefield of partisan politics. They are not ready for this arena, and we should never have asked them to be.
Well, I think that's a massively narrow-sighted and negative and enjoyably from the safety of one's own living room point of view. Because the reality is that a young woman in uniform was assassinated by a crazed lunatic that should not have been here. And so would that person have been a law enforcement officer, a D.C. Metro Police? Would that person have been a National Guard member in a different state? The deranged lunatic traveled from Bellingham, Washington, where, by the way, he has 5 children and a wife. Being gone, crossing the country for Thanksgiving, I would think have raised some eyebrows in the family. Where is Dad going? Why isn't my husband here for the holiday? So we know that authorities are investigating meticulously that household and his entire orbit, but I am quite positive that it seems that you could not allegedly carry this out in complete anonymity, privacy, and independence. So levying any blame on the President of the United States, who is the one person in this, in his administration, who actually does keep Americans' safety as a priority, and those brave men and women in uniform as a priority, I think all of these journalists should take a step back and actually review that.
And by the way, I just thought of something else. That's from the Fox News channel. So a wife and 5 kids. Who's paying for all of this? I mean, maybe he has a job that paid for his wife and 5 kids, but I highly doubt it. Did the government pay for this? Let's go back to your telephone calls. Line 4, Alan, Long Beach, New York on this Black Friday. Alan, what's on your mind?
So, Dominic, I want to know what's going on in this country, because what President Trump said is so true. We are just a bunch of dumb people. My son did 3 tours of duty in Afghanistan with one of your former callers, the first guy I called with the 101st Airborne Division. They had rebel Afghan soldiers working beside them. These people were dangerous. They basically attacked American soldiers during the Obama administration while they were fighting hand-to-hand combat in the Kumar Valley under hard and arduous hand-to-hand combat. And anybody who thinks these people were vetted are crazy. They came into this country. Nobody knew anything about them, the same way that they were working with American soldiers who were fearful of them every day. My son had a dog, and they, on numerous occasions, while they were in battle, they would try to steal his dog and cook it. That's the kind of people that we let into this
your son
country.
had a military dog or a regular dog?
Dog. He had taken a dog that he had found loose in the Kumar Valley.
Did they try and have sex with the dog?
He took the dog with him into his tank because he couldn't leave him in his barracks because the Afghans would eat him.
Oh. Okay, but wait, but at the airport, but these were all animals that were caged. So maybe there were what 100 animals that were left at the airport that were alive.
The United States, because once they got back to the Bagram, at Bagram, they weren't able to take them home. They had to leave them there.
Right. Wow.
So these are the kind of people. These are the kinds of people that we're talking about that are in our country we know nothing about. And anybody who thinks that anybody who thinks that these people are civilized, they've got something else they don't even understand. You know what they should do? They should rent the movie The Hornet's Nest, which shows a documentary of hand-to-hand combat that the Americans undertook under President Obama, who changed the rules of engagement and made America a laughingstock in Afghanistan. And I can tell you, my son, on numerous occasions, was delivering money to Afghan territorial chiefs, U.S. dollars, through USA Aid, and they were getting bribed every day, these people. So these are not normal people. These are criminals.
Okay, but wait, Alan. So so they're being bribed every day. Then why was it such a disaster at the airport getting those planes out?
Because of the American journalists under Obama didn't tell the truth. And that's the problem. And until Donald Trump came into office, as you all know, we've seen it with Biden, we saw it with Obama, our entire news media has been corrupted and filled with nonsense. And that's why we had what happened the other day, and why a 20-year-old girl who had no idea that she was going to be murdered by some Afghan lunatic who was allowed into this country occurred. And I think America is stupid if we think that these people were ever vetted.
Wow. Well, thank you for the enlightenment of what's really going on. For the call, Alan. Your son is no longer in the military, correct?
No, after 10 years and 3 tours of duty, his battalion was essentially disassembled, and he had to go into another capacity. But he was in Fort Campbell, where Vice President Vance was yesterday. So, and he was talking about it. But, those poor boys at the 101st Airborne Division underwent torturous duty in the Afghan war. And I suggest people who want to really see what's going on, go rent the documentary, one of the few true documentaries of that war, The Hornet's Nest, which was in movie theaters, and maybe you can still find it on television in one of the national
Alan,
movie channels.
Before I move on, does your son know what happened to his dog? I'm almost afraid to ask.
No, he never left the dog behind because he wasn't able to take him. But I would assume that the dog was probably went the route of others. And I just want to say one other thing, Dominic, because
Quickly,
this is
please.
also very upsetting to me and on my mind. I want to know what happened to the Democratic leadership in New York. We have Jay Jacobs, a Jewish individual who basically permitted Mondami to be elected in New York City. What happened to the Democratic Party?
But you can't really. I got to step in, Alan, because I got to move on to other calls. You can't really blame him for that. They thought that he was just going to be a fly-by-night candidate, and that was that. So they didn't see any need to try and block him. Unfortunately, it was a mistake from Cuomo and everyone else on down. But that's still not what cost the Democrats this election. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going down this road anymore ever again. Okay? I said what I had to say on this race. I know what I'm talking about this race. It's playing out exactly the way I told you, folks. You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till you see what's coming down the road about this recent mayor's race. So, Debbie Lebedo, Debbie again, she says, oh, wait a minute. That was the first, tweet that I read from Debbie. Oh, Debbie says, your idea is better. Then we toast his torture. Yes. What should happen, to this, so I guess, Savage is not good. I don't even know what the call, cause they're not human. Let me backtrack. See, that's the problem. Oh, they're human, just like Americans. They're just like us. Welcome them. You just heard the last caller tell you how crazy these individuals are. How they would cook and eat the dogs. What else more do you have to know? And if you're going to cook and eat the dog, then you're probably having sex with the dog before you cook and eat the dog. These are the types of people that we're talking about. Palestinian protesters. Highlight that in your stupid, silly, disgusting protest. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Time for a break. We're coming right back.
And now a message from McAfee.
Your package couldn't be delivered.
You owe thousands in unpaid tolls.
You want a free gift.
If texts like these sound familiar, McAfee can help. McAfee automatically identifies text and email scams as well as AI-generated audio to help you stay safe. If they're faking it, they're not making it past us. Get award-winning scam detection today. McAfee.com/keepitreal.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And on this Black Friday, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation final thoughts of the day. DMS, the beautiful DMS, just tweeted this. She says, at Dominic TV, perfect. And I got to tell you, DMS, I agree with this, right? So she retweeted someone by the name of Dark Empire. It looks like Entertainment. And it starts out with this. Call me a racist. But in my case, folks, they can't call me a racist. So what they say is, Uncle Tom, do you think I care straight up if you call me an Uncle Tom? I don't. I laugh at you. Whatever. So the next line says, call me Islamophobic. You can call me that if you want to. The next line says, I don't care at all. That's certainly where I'm coming from. The next line says, I'm Islama exhausted and sick of all the insanity. Get these people back to the countries of the flags they are waving and let the church say amen. The next line says, I miss America. Call me what you like. I don't care. I'm sick of fearing words. And then this person capitalizes this, done and unapologetic. And you know what that is? You know what that part is right there, folks? That's that Obama mic drop. Boom. The last word, because every line in that is absolutely true. Let's go to Gene on line 4, Mount Vernon. Gene, what's on your mind?
Yeah. Hi, Dominic. You were talking about the demonstrators at Apple Store.
Yes.
I can remember living in Greenwich Village since 1965, and I remember 2 policemen used to come up together from downtown and used to go up to handle demonstrators in the city. And I think that now you would have people that carry guns in the city that would create a real problem for policemen that were on horses, whereas at that time, I don't think you would have people with guns as handy as they do now.
Well, I hear you, Gene, but and the horses are still around. They need to be brought out for these protesters. And I'm as serious as cancer, Gene. We pay a lot of money to keep those police dogs in excellent shape, as it should be. The Catsimatidis family has done a lot to donate money for police dogs. Let's use them. They wanna protest these Palestinians. They want to say horrible things about Jewish people. Oops, I slipped and fell, and the dog's leash got out of my hand, and he bit 8 of the protesters. I'm sorry. It's not my fault. It's not the dog's fault. I slipped and fell. And before I can get control of the dog, he bit 8 or 9 or 10 or 11, 12 of these protesters. I'm sorry. We'll get them medical care. Let's go to, let's see here, Mick in Boston, Massachusetts. Mick, I'm not feeling you on line 3 because I want to be in Boston right now down at the seaport. Well, it's a little cold, but having some food. Good afternoon. What's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, first time, long time. I really enjoy your show. And what I was calling about is the taxpayer requirement to pay for child care. I have 3 kids, and I think you have at least 1 child. You weren't expecting the government to pay for that child. That was on you. So
hey, Mick, you got to be joking. For most of us serious people, we know that we're responsible for our children, the kids that we make. It's only the fools that believe that the government is responsible for their kids. Go ahead.
You're saying the probability of having multiple children, 5, 6, 7, is all part of a certain culture. So this thing's going to break down. Why do we have to pay child care for people that have children?
Well, because Mick, the violin is out and it's playing, and some of these women and some of these women with fathers, or mostly some of these women, they say, I don't want to work. I don't want to work. I don't want to do workfare. So it's time for me to do workfare. Oops, I got pregnant again. It's time for me to do workfare. Oops, I got pregnant again. I can get $300 more food stamp. Oops, I got pregnant again. And now we're looking at 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're correct, Mick. We're responsible. The buck has to stop somewhere. Cut them all off of food stamps. Cut them off of welfare. Make them step up and take care of their kids. Oh, how could you say that, Dominic? We're a bleeding heart liberal society. Well, normal folks are done and tired of that. Folks, all it takes is $11 a month. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation at T2T.org. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?